How you doing? Lord's Acoustic Ninja back at you. Today we're going to talk about scales, and we're going to play scales in the standard G scale. And lots of folks don't like to fool around with scales, but scales really can teach us a lot. They do a few things. Knowing the scale, you can you can kind of play any song that you can hear, or whistle back. I mean, if you can hum it, play it back, you can hear those notes and find those notes in the scales. And it also gives you some dexterity. You know, it's a decent dexterity exercise. Helps you get your fingers stretching a little bit and moving some. And the cool thing about it is, we talked about it earlier, is you can move these shapes up and down the neck using the exact same finger movements, but just positioning your hand on different places on the neck. For instance, here is the standard G scale. Let's see if I can remember it. That's not it. Okay, now that's G. Take that exact same scale position and move it down 5 frets, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5th fret. And that's A. Now here is that exact same position, finger position in A. Exact same thing. Same positions. And you just move it on down. You just keep moving it on down. Here's C chord. So that's all repeatable. So the point is, if you can learn this basic G scale here on the neck, then you can take those exact same finger positions and transpose, copy them right on down the neck. So what that allows you to do, that allows you to play up and down the neck in any scale you want, any key you want in scale. And we're going to show you how to do that right now. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about this guitar. This is what's called the Gibson SJ-200 Pre-War Jumbo. Now, the reason I'm showing you this guitar is just to kind of illustrate a point. This is about a $7,000 guitar, and that's just way too much money. It's a nice guitar. It has real wood, rosewood back and sides. You know, I mean, it's a beautiful guitar. Sounds good, but I have an Epiphone Jumbo, and I'm not a huge fan of Epiphone, although they're okay, and lots of people really love them. I mean, they're all right. I'm just not a huge fan of the way they set their guitars up from the factory. Basically, they don't do a decent factory setup, in my opinion. But your mileage may vary with them, and that's fine. There's lots of people that don't like Gibson for different reasons, so it's just all right. But anyway, the point is, I've got an Epiphone Jumbo. That's I think I gave 400 bucks for it. And it has laminate wood. In other words, what I mean is basically some kind of cheaper plywood with a thin laminate film of maple. But it still has, for 400 bucks, it still has an authentic jumbo sound. And it sounds good enough, and it plays decent enough. And it's an enjoyable enough guitar, and it's fine. But the price difference is the huge issue between those two guitars. For 400 bucks, that Epiphone Jumbo also has some built-in electronics, so if that's important to you, that's a plus for 400, 450 bucks. They might be a little bit more than that now. I've had this one for a while. This Gibson Jumbo for 7,000 does not have built-in electronics. If that's a big deal, I mean, this one doesn't have. But I mean, these are basically heritage type guitars, you know, collectible type instruments. This is something that I probably would never play gigging anywhere or taking it outside, you know, the home. But it's an enjoyable guitar to play. But you don't have to spend that kind of money and still be able to enjoy a jumbo type guitar. Same thing about Yamahas. Here I got a video here on the channel where I play a Yamaha guitar that I set up for a friend of mine, and it's a $250, $300 guitar, and it's a fun guitar to play. It sounds good, and it's plenty good enough to learn how to play the guitar, and to just enjoy music in general. And it has built-in electronics too, if you need that or want that. And I mean, it's a $300 guitar. And if you set them up a little bit, put these set of strings on them, and there's not a serious flaw in the instrument, you can get plenty of enjoyment out of the guitar. So you don't have to spend a huge amount of money to get a quality playing instrument that you can enjoy. I guess that's the point. But today, we're going to play this. I mean, I love this guitar. I like it. It's a great guitar. But I doubt if you could tell the difference in the way it sounds across the internet versus that Epiphone. Maybe you can. But I mean, there is a difference. But $6,000 or $5,000, $5,500 difference? Probably not in most cases. But it is a great guitar, don't get me wrong. Sounds great, sounds full. Is it worth $7,000? And, you know, I don't know. I mean, I bought it, so it must be. But to you, it may not be. And one other thing about this guitar, I don't play very often. It's not the guitar I play on an everyday basis. Can't really tell you why, other than it just isn't. It's a fun instrument to play, and I break it out every once in a while, and I probably haven't played this Jumbo in 4 or 5 months. But I've got a $700 Alvarez that I play almost every single day. I mean, it's also has real wood. You know, it has solid rosewood back and sides, spruce top, and sounds great, plays good, and it's a dreadnought, bluegrass model. Alvarez's bluegrass model dreadnought. And it's a great guitar, and it's the one that I play almost all the time. Totally different critter. This is a Jumbo. The other Alvarez is a dreadnought. But the one I play every day isn't a $7,000 guitar. So, I mean, that should tell you something. It's not the one I play all the time. And by the same token, on electrics, I got a $5,000 Les Paul Custom Gibson. That's a fantastic guitar. It's a great guitar, and I love to play it, and it's fun to play. It plays great, looks great, sounds great. But it's not the electric guitar that I play every day. It's not the one I reach for first whenever I want to play an electric guitar. You know, I generally grab a Fender. or I built a Fender, probably for about $500, and that's probably my favorite electric, $500-600 custom built Fender that I built to suit myself personally. And I got a Telecaster. I got a Fender Telecaster, about a $1,600-1,700 Telecaster that I also play quite frequently. And speaking of Epiphones, I've got an Epiphone Lucille that is actually a very good electric guitar, and I play it quite a bit too. And periodically I'll break out that $5,500 Gibson Les Paul, but not very often. So, so take that with a grain of salt. Nothing wrong with those expensive guitars. I love them. I think they're fantastic. They're great. And are they worth the money, though? That's an individual decision that only you can make. They're not necessary, and I have them, but they're not the ones that I play on a daily basis. They just aren't. But today we're going to play this Jumbo and try to show you the G scale. Coming up here in a minute, we'll show you the tablature for that scale. And then you can learn that scale, and then you can play different songs in the scale. If you can hear it, if you can hum it, if you can repeat it in your head, you can almost always find those notes to that song in the G scale and play it. For instance, here's G again. Here's the G scale again. On the 3rd fret. 1, 2, 3, 3rd fret. Okay. That finger right there is just in the way. You're going to spread it right there. Okay, those two right there. But it's important to use the right fingers. Get used to the right fingers when you're playing that scale, so that they'll stretch the way they need to. And that'll be more important the longer you play. So here's the G scale again, and I'll go over real slow here in a minute and show you the tablature so you can follow along at your leisure. Now, there's a little more to it you can add to it, and here it is. How about she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes? Let's see if I can figure that out. That's really crude, man. But you get the idea. You kind of hunt. That's called hunting and pecking. You can hunt and peck in that scale and find those notes. And then kind of once you find them, then you can kind of, keep practicing that until it's fluid. And that's kind of what these different scales do. The fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the scale on the piano, guitar, whatever. And you can play a lot of music. And when you're improvising and, if you're playing lead or if you're just strumming chords and that sort of thing, sometimes you can get stuck and in a rut. And when that happens, go to the standard scales and try to learn a song in that scale. And that can kind of get you kick-started back into playing new music again. Okay, let's get started on the G scale.